Hi folks, and welcome to another Monday Marks Market Update. Today, an awesome topic for you called stigmatized properties. And I'm going to explain what they are and then how we're going to overcome the sale of a stigmatized property, because you need a significantly higher skill level to sell that than a normal property. Just wrapping up the week, there's been with auctions, so there were 64 properties that went to auction, and that clearance rate hit 62%, climbing up a little bit from what we saw last week. Okay, let's delve into stigmatized properties. For those of you that don't know the term, it means there's an issue or an item with the property that for a lot of buyers would be perhaps enough of a reason to maybe not consider purchasing it. So let's have a look and say houses, what sort of things we come across with those sort of stigmas. You might have termites that are found in or around the property. You might have high tension power lines. You might have easements that run through, underneath or right around the property and restrict extension potential or further development potential. You might have busy highways, and maybe multiple unapproved structures which have implications with insurance. Now, if you're delving into the sale of units, well, we're going to encounter all sorts of things with units. So there might be things like flammable cladding, very, very high strata levies. There might be legal cases against the builder that the strata are in the middle of fighting, or water ingress that's found through balconies into basements or through roofs, and just general building defects. So they are obvious concerns for buyers, and so an agent needs to be extraordinarily good at being able to overcome those objections and still be able to move towards a sale. Now, we've sold 5 properties in the last 2 weeks that had almost every one of those, or most of those stigmas that we've spoken about. So we needed a lot of different strategies to do that. So it might mean choosing the correct method for sale. So for example, an auction campaign attracts buyers either prior to, at, or immediately after the auction that are unconditional and therefore locked in immediately to the purchase. So there's no calling off where they can change their mind. The dialogues need to be very, very good, using things such as terminology around the property has been priced accordingly, factoring that stigma into it. There might be more pre-market works to minimise objections around maintenance items at the property, so we almost divert the buyer's attention to the fact that it's so well presented that the stigma perhaps isn't as much of a concern as they otherwise thought. Perhaps even just styling and presenting the property a lot nicer, all of those sort of things. You know, with all our contracts, and especially for the strata contracts, which are very, very long, it means we've got to read through those strata minutes and understand them, so we can explain things to buyers. It means we've got to call the strata manager and get the story and the history of the development, the building manager, so we can see what items they're actively working on. We might use case studies from other properties that were sold in that building or similar, or that had similar stigmas, or even go and delve into comparative market analysis data to focus the buyers around why the property is still a good property to purchase. So I suppose the learning here for you is that if you have a stigmatized property that might have any one of those things, they can be a concern to buyers, and it needs a very skilled agent with very good dialogue systems and a history and case studies of being able to sell properties for those stigmas. That's what you should be looking for. So we're actively looking for those stigmatized properties. We know they're not easy, but we love that challenge and we're prepared to take it on. That's why we've got 7 people working for you. That is what you really need to sell any property, but especially a stigmatized property. I hope you have a great week. Look forward to seeing you next week.